And that's the 5 stoves that we're going to be looking at. Now what we're going to do now is lay them out on here, top them all up with fuel, all at the same temperature, all in the same conditions, set them all going, start the video and watch the stopwatch as well and see how long each one will burn for and also how soon they bloom and that sort of thing. So there we go. We've now topped them all up pretty well to capacity. I've laid them out like this with a bit of space between them, and you'll see why once they get going. Just a quick tip before we start. I always start a Meths stove with a flint and steel. There are 2 ways of using a flint and steel. You can either hold it down, and obviously usually you press the tip of this against the whatever it is you're lighting, if it's tinder, and then you flick downwards. That's the standard way that everybody will know. But of course what can happen with these little stoves, if you push down too hard, you can tip up the Meths and obviously create a bit of a problem. The other way of doing it is to hold the striker steady with the heel of your hand against the ground and pull the flint backwards like that. And actually that's more directional, and that's how I'm going to be lighting these, hopefully fairly quickly. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those 4 are lit. That one isn't. There we go. Okay, start the stopwatch. That's the stopwatch going. Let's just turn that so the camera can see it. And let's just sit and wait, really. You'll notice straight away that the Triad there, you can actually now put your pot straight on top of there and start cooking. Whereas these 3 side burners, you're waiting for them to bloom. The Trangia, of course, is a bit of an unusual one because that normally comes in a sort of a kit of some kind. So, you know, we have to sort of do this as a bit of a loose experiment, what you would actually be doing with that. Personally, I would have that inside a honey stove in some format or other, either in the 3-way or in the complete big hexagon, and I would then be able to put the pot on straight away. But again, we're waiting for these now. And how long has gone by? A minute or so? Yeah, just over a minute's gone by now. But things are starting to pick up a bit. In fact, what I might do is move that stopwatch. There you go. There's the first one blooming there. See that? And that's on 1 minute 23. So that's the white box solo. I'm going to move that away because it will melt once the other one gets going. And the Triad stove is probably, I've overfilled it looking at it, and so it's expanding the Meths and it's tipping over the side, which is not a good thing, but that's a good reason I've got the mat on to protect the table. And here comes the white box duo stove. That's about to bloom. Wait for it. There you go. And there's your blooming on the duo stove at 2 minutes dead. Don't want to melt my Gore-Tex jacket on my event jacket. But as you can see from the width of those flames, once you put a pot on there, it's got to be a fairly wide pot to make the most of that expansion. Again, the Triad's still bombing away there. I've definitely overfilled that Triad, so that's my mistake. Not a particularly good example of skill, but it shows you can still be cooking on it. The Trangia is just plodding away doing what Trangias do, and this one is still waiting for it to bloom. And there you have the Decagon now blooming at just under 3 minutes. So now you have all 5 stoves really going for it, and we're just touching on the 4-minute section now. So that's the white box solo, white box duo, the Triad, which has now burnt off all that excess fuel that I'd overfilled it with, the Trangia is just plodding away, and the Decagon. And now we'll see how long these stoves last. The last few flames there of the solo as it burns up the last of the vapours, and that's at 8.5 minutes. It looks like the white box duo is about to burn itself out. We're just over 10 minutes, and the Decagon's not far behind as well. Again, just over 10 minutes. So the duo's now gone. These are aluminium, by the way, whereas that's the Trangia, of course, is brass, and the 2 Vargo ones are titanium. So the Duo's just going the last couple of flames, and there goes the Decagon as well. It's not far behind, and we're on 10 minutes 30 at the moment. And there goes the Decagon, the last few flickers there at 11 minutes 40. Coming back to our two old faithfuls, these two, the Trangia and the Triad, still bombing away beautifully. But we're now at 13 and a half, 14 minutes, and both of them are still powering away. And I think you can see there the Triad is just down to its last few flames there at 21 minutes. And of course the Trangia is still powering away. Trangia of course has got a much greater reservoir than the rest of them, so it's hardly surprising it keeps going longer. But whether it's more fuel efficient or not, you really need to measure the fuel and put the same amount in each one for a fair comparison. So that one's now finally out 21 minutes. What I'll do now is I'll quickly have a quick roundup and do the features and benefits of each one, and hopefully when you come to decide which Meths stove you need, this will help you in some way. And then one of the next videos we'll explain about the benefits of pot cozies and what they can do to improve your fuel efficiency and cooking experience.